Are you feeling weak and overwhelmed? Life's challenges can sometimes feel like an endless uphill battle, leaving you drained, exhausted, and questioning how much more you can take. You try your best to keep up, to stay strong, but it feels like your strength is fading, slipping through your fingers with every new challenge that comes your way. Does that sound familiar? If it does, you're not alone. We've all been there. Those moments when it feels like the weight of the world is pressing down on us. When the tasks and trials of life seem too much to bear, it's easy to feel like you gotta keep it all together. That showing any sign of weakness is somehow a failure. But here's the truth. Real strength isn't about never feeling weak. It's about knowing where to turn when you do. It's not about never falling down. It's about knowing how to get back up and, more importantly, who to lean on for support when you're struggling to stand. The good news is God doesn't expect you to carry everything on your own. In fact, it's in your weakest moments that His strength shines the brightest. Think about that for a moment. When you're at your lowest, when you're at the end of your rope, that's where God's power begins. It's in those very moments of weakness that God is able to work most powerfully in your life. Stop carrying the burden alone. The first step is to stop trying to do it all alone. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking you've got to handle everything by yourself, that admitting you need help is a sign of failure or inadequacy. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Admitting that you need help isn't a weakness, it's wisdom. It's recognizing that you were never meant to carry the burdens of life on your own. God created us to be in relationship with Him, to rely on His strength, not just our own. Lean into God's strength. The second step is to lean into God's strength. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. When you're feeling overwhelmed, when you've reached the end of your strength, turn to God. He's there waiting to carry the load you've been struggling with. The Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians 12:9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." What an incredible promise. God's power is perfected in our weakness. When we're weak, He is strong. When we can't go on, He carries us. Practical steps to lean on God. So how do you lean into God's strength practically? Start by praying. Prayer is your direct line to God, your way of communicating with Him. When you pray, you're not just speaking into the void. You're talking to the Creator of the universe, the one who knows you better than you know yourself and who loves you more than you can imagine. Pour out your heart to Him. Tell Him what's weighing you down, where you feel weak, and where you need His help. Then trust Him. Trust that He hears you, that He's with you, and that He's more than able to carry you through whatever you're facing. Immerse yourself in God's Word. The Bible is full of promises of God's strength, His power, and His love for you. When you read these promises, when you meditate on them and let them sink into your heart, you're building a foundation of strength that will carry you through the toughest times. Scriptures like Philippians 4:13, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," or Isaiah 40:29, "He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak," remind us that we don't have to rely on our own strength. God's strength is available to us every single day. Lean on your community. Don't underestimate the importance of community. God didn't create us to walk through life alone. We need each other. When you're feeling weak, reach out to a trusted friend, a pastor, or a mentor. Let them know what you're going through and allow them to support you. Sometimes God's strength comes through the people He's placed in our lives, those who can offer a listening ear, a word of encouragement, or a prayer of support. Don't be afraid to lean on your community. They're there to help you just as you're there to help them when they need it. Your weakness doesn't define you. Lastly, remember that feeling weak doesn't disqualify you from God's love or His plans for your life. We all have moments of weakness, moments when we feel like we've got nothing left to give, but those moments don't define you. What defines you is your relationship with God and His love for you. In your weakest moments, God is still working, still moving, and still using you in powerful ways. So, if you're feeling weak today, take heart. You don't have to be strong on your own. Let God be your strength. He is not only willing, but eager to carry your burdens, to give you the strength you need to keep going, and to show you that His power is made perfect in your weakness. Are you ready to rely on His strength? If so, I encourage you to take a moment right now to pray, to ask God for the strength you need, and to surrender your burdens to Him. And if you're comfortable, comment below, "God, I need you." Let's find strength together as we lean into God's power and trust in His unending love and support. God bless you all.